Okay, so today I have a product update, product demo for you for AV Sync. So until one of my software products gets some traction, I'm basically developing, I think, 5 or 6 different projects all at the same time, just trying to put my eggs in several different baskets and just see which one turns out it's actually helping people. So AV Sync is one of those. And in fact, it might change its name. So I've been posting some polls around the internet this morning, trying to ask people if I should consider maybe a rebrand, a rename. And so you can see here in these polls, I'm considering things like AV Staff Management, AV Crew Scheduler. Why? Because I've been learning more about keyword research and SEO recently, and I was just thinking, what if I named it something that's already sort of like the search terms people are using to find the solution, which is help with scheduling technicians for AV companies. And there are not a lot of, no one is actually searching for AV technician scheduling software or something like that in the same way that lots of people are searching for things like nurse scheduling software and construction crew management and things like that. So, but I just thought, I see these terms coming up a lot for words like manager and management. And so just trying to get people's opinions if they think I should add something like that. So yeah, feel free to vote on one of these polls on your preferred platform and let me know if you have a better idea for a name than AV Sync. And by the way, I am getting into Blue Sky a little bit. I think I closed the tab already. But I am on Blue Sky. So if you guys are into Blue Sky, then, connect with me over there. Okay. So those are just for fun, some polls, but what is AV Sync and what is the new feature? So the new thing with AV Sync is integrations. Why? Because what I have discovered is that there are a lot of AV companies out of or let me say it this way. It seems like most AV companies start out by running their business in spreadsheets. Just totally fine. And it seems like it works for most people up until a certain point. And that point is normally where you get beyond 10 to 20 employees and or you add someone to the management team who has not been building this giant spreadsheet with you for years. So I wish I could show you an example of one of these spreadsheets that I've seen, but of course that's all private information. But what happens at these companies a lot is that they start adding contacts like, oh, these are contractors that I like working with. These are my employees. You start adding those people to the spreadsheet. You're using that to make a schedule and adding people to projects. And over time, it grows and becomes more complicated as your business grows. And then, 5 years into it, you and your co-founder or you and your partner understand how that spreadsheet works. But then you add a third project manager or account manager. And then all of a sudden that person's like, whoa, what is this? Why are you guys doing this to me? And then you start looking for separate solutions, or your business just gets complicated enough that the spreadsheets aren't really working anymore. So AV Sync is designed to solve that problem when your labor management needs go beyond spreadsheets, essentially. And one of the ways that I'm trying to help with that is by adding integrations. So there are a lot of people who start their projects in something like HubSpot or Flex, Rentman, and then even go on to do more things in places like Basecamp. But they still like to do their labor management in a spreadsheet. And so this is for those people that start their project in something like that. So the first integration I did so far is with Flex. Flex is a common tool that people are using at AV companies, at least in the US, and it seems like some in Australia. And so now here in AV Sync, there's a settings page where you can put in your API key for Flex. And you can see here, I'm testing this with a partner right now because I don't have my own Flex account yet. And so over here, when we go to assign someone to a schedule, now when I go to look, you can see there's no internal projects here in AV Sync yet. And yet, if I go to assign someone to a schedule and I click the projects drop-down menu, it'll now be populated with projects from Flex. I'm blurring these all out because, as I mentioned, I'm testing this with one of my partners' Flex installations and API keys. And so some of this might be private information, but you'll just have to take my word for it that these are all imported from Flex. And so I just want to make it clear that this is not intended to compete with Flex or be a Flex replacement at all. People are running their businesses on Flex, and they have been doing that for decades and will continue to do that into the future. This is for those people who are currently running all of their scheduling and contractor booking and employee scheduling through a spreadsheet, and that has become untenable at this point. Okay, so that is pretty exciting for me that I got the Flex integration set up, and next I'll be working on other things like HubSpot, because a lot of people have just like all of their contacts in HubSpot, and so it'll be really nice here in the resources drop-down menu if there's something like all of your contacts from HubSpot show up in here, so you don't have to import them one by one. Because I think one of the biggest things that software can do for us is help with not only reducing data duplication, right? Because a lot of people are, starting a project in Flex and then they have to duplicate all that information in their spreadsheet where they're doing some other part of it, but also to reduce the number of errors. So here, instead of forcing you to copy all the information about a project from one system to another, I'm just offering a convenience here to import it for you. One other minor thing I added is I added the ability to add someone's position. So if you schedule Nathan for a project, for example, now you can say what position is he going to work in what department. And the way I'm handling that for now is that I'm not writing anything in here, because I have seen that almost every AV company likes to set this up slightly differently. So I don't know. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like there are pretty much standard positions across the board: audio, video, lighting, etc. And they're all A1, A2, A3, V1, V2, V3. But I know there are slight differences. So I'm not putting anything in here yet. And my idea is that you will just, type in whatever you want in here, and it will add it for you. And then over time, you'll build up your own database of the kinds of positions you want to use, written exactly how you want them to be internally for your organization. But the departments I've pre-populated already. And then as we go along and people tell me that they need different or new departments, I'll just have to add those manually. So we'll see if that works. I feel like that's a nice compromise approach between some of it being standardized. I think I can predict, the default standard departments on any number of projects. But I don't know exactly how you want to write your positions. So I'll ask you to write that in. So I think that's it in terms of updates. I know it's not super exciting, and it looks like there's not a lot going on here, but it took quite a bit of work just to get to that stage to figure out the integration with Flex, and now we'll be looking at other integrations as well. Another interesting question is how to handle the synchronization after a project has been integrated. So for example, I'll just put this question in your mind and you can comment on this video if you think you have some answer. Maybe you've seen how another system handles this and you have an idea. So for example, after a project has been imported into AV Sync from a third-party system, from an external system, how should AV Sync respond if that project, like the date and time in the external system change? Should it do anything? Should it update automatically? My thinking is that it should probably update automatically, so that if, a project is imported into AV Sync, it changes in that third-party system, then it should probably also just update automatically so that the date changes. But there are some little tricky parts in exactly how to do that. So maybe you have an opinion. Okay. Thank you for checking out this update. And I would love to do more demos for people. If you work in an AV company or you're doing project management, and you would like to see if this could apply to your organization and scheduling technicians and employees and things like that, I would love to do a demo for you. No pressure to buy or sell. At this point, I'm just more interested in getting feedback from people and seeing how the product could be improved. All right. Thanks a lot.